Well, a local man has put pen to paper, preserving his memories of combat.
Still ahead on WGN News, here is an amazing tale of survival, and even we were surprised to learn of a link to the late Ray Rayner.
Good old Ray. And he is a survivor in the truest sense of the word.
Stanley Edwards, a lifelong Chicago area resident, survived being shot down on D-Day, repeated capture by the German army, and 2 prisoner of war camps.
Now, as he turns 81, he's putting it all down into print. And Chuck Coppola is here with more on a man that we are proud to call one of Chicago's very own.
Absolutely, Jackie and Bob. For years, Stanley Edwards wouldn't speak of what he did during World War II for fear of hurting his father-in-law, a man he admired greatly and who was German. But with the 60th anniversary of D-Day this June and Stanley getting on in years, well, his family convinced him that it was time to share his experiences with the rest of us.
Happy birthday to you!
Stanley Edwards of Naperville just turned 81, but his memory of 21 is just as vivid. He left Chicago and became a second lieutenant in the Army Air Corps, who flew in the Allied invasion on D-Day.
They opened up on us and it was like 4th of July. 50-millimeter shells were coming up and it hit our right engine and it knocked it out.
From just 300 feet, Edwards bailed out.
As I went by the tail, I pulled the ripcord and the chute popped and I hit the ground just that quick. And I got a 45. You know, I'm going to start World War II with my 45.
4 times he was captured. 4 times he escaped.
And I grabbed him and I broke his neck.
The memory still haunts Edwards and fills the book he's just completed with Julie Fang.
I said something like, you really need to preserve this story because it's such a piece of history.
It's a part of history that's important to him, and it's a part of him.
Eventually, the German army captured Edwards and sent him to Stalag Luft III, a prisoner of war camp carved out of a dense forest near Saga. Later, as the Allies advanced, his captors moved Edwards and thousands of other POWs to another camp near Munich.
I went to Northwestern University with tears in my eyes because I knew in one way that he was alive, but I knew he was a prisoner.
18 men to a loaf of bread that big. That meant you got one very thin slice.
Edwards recalls when General Patton's Third Army liberated the camp.
One of his aides had a pot belly, and he hit him with his, what do you call that thing? His walking stick or whatever. He hit him with that and said, "We're sending you to prison camp."
After the war, Edwards returned to Chicago, married Shirley Broker, and began raising a family.
I think when you see people die, and that's all around you, I think you really get a sense of the real important things in life. Every night when he came home from work, after supper, we would either go ice skating, we would play a game of softball in the street or something. He was a very involved parent.
Stan is 5th from left on wing.
But thoughts of D-Day have never left.
We got off the ship and we knelt down on the ground and we kissed the ground. And I was so happy to be back, but I still had that feeling for all of those people that never made it out of the water on D-Day, that never made the beach.
So far, Edwards and his family are mulling over at least one offer to publish his book, and we discovered a WGN connection with Stanley Edwards that we didn't realize when we first talked. Edwards showed us this picture of him with Ray Rayner, the man you see on the right, who hosted children's programs on WGN for nearly 40 years. Rayner, who died just 2.5 weeks ago, was a World War II POW also, and at the same camp, Stalag Luft III, though each man did not discover this coincidence until 1995, when former POWs held a 50-year reunion.
Wow, what a story to tell. Good luck with his book, we wish him.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chuck.